Hey, hello everyone. It's so good to have you all here, right? So now we're here for our third day of the Cloud Tech Days initiative, right? So if you can see us, if you can hear us, so let us know. Say hello in the chat. We are right here to help you out. The whole objective here is to help you improve your cloud skills and get your cloud projects going on. So I see lots of people joining us, right? So please go ahead and say hello. Say hello in the chat, right? Wherever you are, if you're on our page on cloudtechdays.com. Actually, let me put this thing here. So hello, Pema from Bhutan. That's good. Hey, Jim. Good to see you here, man. That's awesome. Okay, that's really, really good. So now if you're joining us for the first time and you're not part of the Cloud Tech Days initiative, so come here and register right now to Cloud Tech Days, because that's where you can see the replays. You can see you can get all the material that we are sending to you. So make sure that you register right now for cloudtechdays.com if you're here for now. But I see, hey, Drazen from Serbia. Hey, Drazen, good to see you here. So Peter from the Netherlands. Oh, that's so good. Lots of people from all over the world. Hey, Mark. Mark Guilherme. So, man, goodness, good to see you here. That's awesome. All right, so we have lots of awesome people here. Hey, Paulo. Okay, that's awesome. Look, we have lots of people that have been here with us since the first day. Lots of people that are here for the first time. So that's really, really good. Awesome to have you all here with us. So today we have a full day of things for you, because we're talking about actually I'm gonna bring Ruslan so we can remember everything we're talking about here. But we're talking about scalability on Monday, right? So you can go and watch the replay for the scalability on the website if you want to see that. So we talk about scalability on Monday. We talk about savings, right, on Wednesday, right? And then yesterday we had a brief discussion about career, right? So that one, thinking about that one is not a replay on the website. But so maybe we have to fix that. But so we had a brief discussion about career yesterday. And then today we're going to talk about simplicity, because you know what? It doesn't matter if you can do scalable things. It doesn't matter if you can save money if this is so complicated that there's no way that you can do it, right? So we want to make this very easy for you. We want to discuss how we can do this thing in a simpler way in the cloud. And so to do that, to get started with this, let me bring us our main host, and the CEO of Jelaski, Ruslan Sinitsky. Hey, Ruslan, good to have you here, man.
Hello, Bruno. Good to talk to you, and I'm happy to see many people joining, and many people came from the previous sessions. So I'm very glad. Today we will talk about next level, like simplicity, and actually this one contains both, because like you can scale yourself with simplicity. You alone, you can do as much as many other people together. And if you have right tools, and also it's also about efficiency. So because simplicity drives efficiency, you remember, like, your time is the most expensive thing in the world. So you want to get job done fast and in efficient way. So today it's like we combine two things in one, but we talk specifically about simplicity, how to achieve results faster, like what kind of tools can help you to get this done. So, and I'm glad I'm really happy to see many people are joining us today. Good. And in addition, we will have very great guest today. Our long-time customer, Yanis, actually. And let me introduce Yanis. Bruno, can you add Yanis to the? Okay. I don't hear you.
Okay, now you can hear me, right?
Yes, exactly.
So before you introduce Yanis, so I love what you just said, Ruslan, because you're talking about scaling. When we talk about scalability, the most expensive thing that we have is actually not the infrastructure, right? The infrastructure is just money that you're paying, right? But it's the people that you have, the people in your team, your skills that you have, and the knowledge that you have inside your team. So the more you can scale, you can make that team very, very successful, and you can make that team very productive, the better it is, right?
Correct. Yes, exactly. So you can again, like, you can scale your team, you can scale yourself without the need to hire like extra people. Like, people are good, but look, sometimes, like, the most difficult thing is to work with people, honestly, like, because like people are different. Like, you need to find and you need to know like how to work with different people, to give them tasks, like, to explain how it works, like, and control this task and so on. Like, so, but and actually people are the most expensive things, like, because as I mentioned, their time is the most expensive thing in the world. And yeah, like, and making things simple and having right tools so you can move faster in a cost efficient way. So, and today we will talk about this. Very
Yeah,
exciting.
and the interesting thing is that look, there's no way out, guys. There's no way out. I mean, if you're not doing if you're not in the cloud right now, if you're not moving things in the cloud, you have to remember, right? That's so far you could not do things in the cloud if you want to, right? But Moore's law is coming to an end, right? So that means that there's no way for you to get more performance in your application. But in the past, right, we could have we just throw more hardware at it, right? We get a new hardware, so it's faster. So all we need every 2 years, we can just make our applications faster without much work. But that's gonna go away, right? Moore's law. Some people are saying that Moore's law is gonna end this year, right? 2020, because of economic reasons. It's not gonna be more economically reason to keep pushing it forward. But even if Moore's law continues, you have to remember that since 2006. The performance of a single thread has, slowed down and has pretty much plateaued right now. So that means that a single thread application is not going to be faster by buying new processors, right? So what that means is that either you have more cores, more threads, more processors, more computers, or nothing's going to happen. So cloud is fundamental. So we have to do this. There's no way out. And so that's why we want you to scale your application to the cloud. We want you to save money to run things in the cloud without spending too much money. And we want you to do this with simplicity. So that's why our third class today. So, and as Ruslan was talking about, we have an awesome guest here, Ruslan. So who's our guest?
So our guest is Yanis. Yanis developed his first personal website in 1992, and the next year he started very ambitious project on the Greek internet that was the first music hub for independent artists in Greece, and actually it was one of the first worldwide. It was like mp3.gr. And in 2004, Yanis founded one of the first technology news portals in Greek web, technews.gr. Currently, Yanis is a co-founder and managing partner of Dark Pony Digital, which is a full-stack digital agency established by a team of passionate people aiming to provide high-quality internet services. And Yanis is experienced in project management with a strong background in team leadership and high-end technologies in the internet trends. So please welcome our guest.
So let's bring Yanis, right? So
Hello.
Yanis, hey Yanis, how you doing, man?
Hello,
and the internet goes crazy for Yanis.
Yeah, I can hear the upload.
You hear people upload.
Thanks a lot for letting me join you. Hello to everybody all over the world. I can see people from Spain, London. That's fantastic. It's a fantastic day. You see, it's a good opportunity now with COVID. Everybody can join all over the world. I'm currently in Thessaloniki, Greece. Hopefully everybody knows where Greece is. It's a bizarre situation here with COVID, especially in Thessaloniki. We got a huge issue. Everybody's locked down. So as I said, Bruno and Ruslan, I'll have only 3 hours ahead of me because I have to go home by 9 o'clock because you're not allowed to walk. So
correct.
Thanks, Ruslan, for the introduction. That brought me back like 30 years ago nearly. That was 92 when I first started dealing with internet projects and I built mp3.gr. Well, I'll talk about the present mainly. I'm a co-founder and managing partner of a digital agency. It's called Dark Pony. It's a funny name, but it makes sense for us.
It's nice name, definitely.
Our business is nearly 20 people at the moment. We are full 360 digital agency, so we cover all the aspects of custom designing and developing websites and doing content marketing and all the social media jargon like performance and calendars and stuff. And as Ruslan said, I'm a happy customer of Gelastic since I think 2015. It's been nearly 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that made a huge difference to our business, the way we grew. So we'll get back to that later on. So I think for the time being, back to Ruslan. And thanks for the welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Yanis, for the good words. And I just showed on my screen description of the use case, Dark Pony.
Your screen's not showing up, right? I'll show you screen in a minute, Ruslan. So just
okay, no problem.
Just say hello. So I see, Tatiana from Spain. So actually, Tatiana, she's from Spain, but she's also here in the backstage because Tatiana is the person running this whole thing in the background. So thanks a lot, Tatiana. So Danielle is from London. So thanks. So great to have you here with us, Danielle. And then we have Ismael from Brazil. So we have Danielle and Ismael, right? So Ismael is from Brazil. So good to see you here. And Pena is saying hello to today's guest, right? So Pema is from.
Hello, Pema.
Yes, Pema is from Bhutan, right? So that's awesome. All right. Okay. So Ruslan, you're gonna start your presentation. Let me put your screen here, and so how about you get started then, Ruslan? So with today's content. So and by the way, before Ruslan start, for everyone here, we want to make this very, very interactive. So feel free to ask questions absolutely all the time, right? I'm going to be here monitoring the chat, monitoring everything, so I can send, I can give Ruslan the question. So go ahead, ask as many questions as you want, because today it's a packed day with lots of cool stuff.
Cool. So do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Awesome. So there is a use case of Dark Pony Digital Agency. And why I like this use case, because Dark Pony uses the PHP, many projects in PHP. So the last 2 days we were talking about Java a lot, actually. So, and today I am happy to touch PHP language as well, because again, as mentioned, we don't have religions about languages. We support all of them. And yeah, as you can see, Dark Pony chose Gelastic for several reasons, like high performing cloud hosting, speeding up testing, and moving to production in fast way. Integrating with Git and implementing continuous integration and continuous delivery, simplified database clustering installations, and many other reasons, I believe. So we will hear and talk about them a little bit later today. So, but as I mentioned, the whole presentation is about how we can get things done in a simple way, how we can reduce complexity, right? Because in the past, as you know, before the cloud, you have to do almost everything by your hands. When we did not have these automation tools, and you buy bare metal infrastructure and you go and configure. Even with VPSs, you have to do a lot of things. And today, life can be different, so you can enjoy more automation stuff. So, but you still need to learn some things, and it depends on which level you are managing your your, let's say, cloud infrastructure, right? So the surveys show that people still lack some skills for managing infrastructures. If you go to infrastructure service, you still have to do stuff manually. You need to configure operating system, update security upload security updates time to time, update your middleware stack, configure load balancing, configure availability. So it's very complex. And as we can see,
Look like we lost Ruslan.
I think we've lost Ruslan.
Ruslan is back. Okay, Ruslan is back. Ruslan, we lost you about 10 seconds, so you can repeat the last thing you said. That's good.
think he's gone.
Okay, so that was he came back enough to say I'm using mobile, and then he's gone, right? So let's see if we can get Ruslan back. So Yanis, let me why Ruslan gets back. Ruslan's talking about about simplicity and everything. You just said that you are a small company and 20 people, so you don't have the luxury to say, okay, so we can spend a lot of time to do things, right? You have to be very pragmatic on everything, right?
That's true. And as I said, joining Elastic and using cloud services actually allowed me, as a managing partner of the company, to find precious time and my peace of mind in order to focus on other things more critical for the business, like business development. Because due to security reasons, probably skills and background, I was the one who was doing all the system administration stuff. So I had to deal with all the, staging and production of projects, and that was taking time and making sure that everything was working fine. Back in the early 2000, 2004, 2005, that wasn't an easy task. So this choice we made actually helped us a lot, and not only economically. And Ruslan actually said the most precious thing and the most expensive thing is time, of course, and that's a really good case with cloud services. And the actual cost, of course, is not necessarily not a bad benefit, but I would stick with what Ruslan said that the actual cost is precious time.
All right, that's cool. So Ruslan is back, and I'm just waiting for him to share his screen so I can send back to him. And so Yanis, that's oops, let me. So that's really good, Yanis. And I told you, one of the things that we can do with the cloud is like, one thing that lots of people don't realize, that when you use the cloud, basically one of the things that we're outsourcing, we're outsourcing all of this work of handling servers and networking and all of this. So we're outsourcing to a partner, to a vendor, right? And so then that way we can focus on what we are very good at, that is giving value to our customers and being creative and doing the right things that we want to do, right?
Exactly.
All right, so Ruslan, you're back.
I'm back here. Sorry, I had near my area yesterday lightning, and it just broke down some devices of our internet provider. Like, I just don't have internet in my home, only like mobile, so I'm streaming from mobile. I apologize for this. Yeah, so I hope now it will work. I will switch off my personal video, but I will show my screen. Sounds
cool.
good?
All right, no problem. Yes. So I'm very glad that the cloud providers don't have to run, don't have to. I mean, they solve those kind of problems, right? When the link goes down, it's their problem, not ours. That's awesome. Okay, Ruslan. So I'm putting your screen up here. Yes, go ahead. So we're gonna keep Ruslan camera off, but yes, go ahead, Ruslan.
Okay, good guys. So again, like I believe you lost me when I mentioned that when projects start, when people start a project, at the end, about 62%, according to the survey, they say like complexity was more than they expected. So it was much more difficult comparing to their initial expectations. So it's reality. We need to take this into account. And today, like we are moving to containers, right? Like new technologies are coming like every day, like microservices, like and stateless and serverless and containers again, like so. And what people say, according to the experience, like lack of resources and experience with containers is one of the challenges of like this year. I mean, 2020 year. This survey was done by Flexera. And the second problem is the complexity of migration traditional applications to containers. So yes, we were talking about containers last days, like they bring you efficiency, right? However, like it also brings some complexity. And another problem is security. So people are concerned about the container security. So these three are the major problems today. But the most difficult one, I mean, the most wide one is complexity of migrating to containers, of using containers, like how to learn these containers. So, and at the end, it comes to, like, you have a lot of containers. You need to manage this containers infrastructure. It brings a lot of complexity. If you don't have right tools, like, you are just lost in this IT world, and you will waste developers' time and potential. So then, what can be other challenges while migrating to the cloud? When you migrate your traditional application, you need to understand, like, what kind of dependencies you have. So, and if you do like decomposition, if you put application from virtual machine to containers, you need to understand, okay, I want to put each stack into separate independent container, or like I want to put them all together. So there are two different approaches. Like, as for example, application containers, they advise you to do to place each independent stack into separate container. So you have better flexibility and better scaling, for example. But there is another approach when system containers can help you, for example, at the initial stage, to do some kind of transition when you do lift and shift approach. So you take everything as it was in virtual machine and you migrate to container. And then you can enjoy scalability and efficiency, as we discussed like during the last two sessions. So please keep in mind there are like system containers, and they can help you to do migration of traditional applications. Still, you can learn, and it's good if you know like how application container works, because you will be able to go even further to get even better efficiency and even better scalability. So good. And deployment is another challenge because you need to deploy somehow applications, right? And people deploy into different ways. Like in the old school era, people deployed through FTP. Like, so they had a server, like, and they did the deployments through FTP of archive, right? Unzip this archive, like, and in this way, it was like some kind of delivery, like, right? But today, it's a good approach to use Git repository, some kind of source code version repository. And it's also good if there is some kind of automation, because if you have like multiple containers, this automation tool can deploy across all these multiple containers. Like, you don't need to go like and do it manually, and you don't need to actually script it by yourself. Because if you have heavy ability, you need to deploy at least into 2 servers. If you have scaling, like, you need to deploy across multiple scalings. If you use Docker containers, for example, right, like they deploy together with Docker images. So there is a little bit different approach how you deploy. Like, it's not as it's just connect source code to your Git repo. Like, you need to build image and then push your image to hub registry. And then pull this hub registry. Like, so look, I can tell you, like, use the option which is better for you at this moment, like, right? Like, it's good if you know both of them, but 2 of them have own pros and cons. So you can find good and bad things in both of them.
But if you don't mind jumping in,
please.
It's funny you described FTP and old school processes. It's like discussing 2020. It's a bad year, but anyhow, it's funny discussing FTP 2020. It sounds like a traditional mail versus email. Deploying code using FTP remind me back in like 10 years ago when we started Dark Pony. We had to do all the work by sending files via FTP. And because I was doing all the stuff, the developers had to send me files, individually PHP files, via Skype, or I can't even remember what kind of messaging system we used back then. So it's a huge difference, the ability to send code automatically, or even by on demand by clicking on a button that says deploy or pull. That's a huge difference. And I'm pretty sure most of the developers are using these kind of services, but those who don't, please at least explore that, because it's critical to your workflow.
Thank you, Yanis, for adding this great analogy. Exactly, like we have like traditional mails and we have emails, right? Today, like look, like people can still have some habits, right? Like with FTP, we say like it's like there is a better way to do this job. However, like if you don't want or you cannot for some reason, right, like to use another one, like still FTP is possible to do today. Like maybe you will not enjoy like all this elasticity and scaling, right? Like, and you need to think about this. Also, why I don't personally like it, because it's very difficult to track changes during the time. So if you don't have any like source code repository, right? But if you do have, then it just doesn't make sense to deploy through FTP anymore. And also, FTP might not be secure. Like, so if you use like just plain FTP, it's really unsecure now. So you have to at least use like SFTP through HTTPS. Yeah, but Yanis, thank you very much for adding these notes. Like, please consider using Git repos for deploying your applications. You will enjoy.
Ruslan, I can see Paolo. He say, I know developers that who struggle with FTP too. I'm pretty sure everybody knows somebody else who's struggling with FTP.
Oh yes, yes, he's talking about WordPress developers, right? But but there's even like developers still doing things on FTP for sure.
I'll jump and say something else which is important. I'm pretty sure Ruslan will not say that because it's a legacy feature. Is that right?
It is a legacy. It is a legacy feature.
But still, on cloud services like Elastic, you do have the option to enable FTP easily by just clicking on any container you want and have temporary access. Do what you have to do, for example, upload a big file or give temporary access to your client, and then with one click, destroy completely the FTP process, which is amazing because still some legacy tools are really useful for day-to-day work.
Yeah, correct. Because you still receive like normal mails, right? Like, so sometimes, I don't know, electricity comes through normal mail. So look, like, and why we support legacy stuff, like, because it fits to our philosophy. We don't want to force people. We want to give them opportunities, but we don't want to make it by a force. While I'm pretty sure, like I know, like other solutions on the market, they enforce specific approach, like use like serverless only, like, or like use like stateless only, like, or use like 12-factor approach. I don't say it's this approach is bad, but my philosophy is, in our philosophy, is just different. Like, we give options, like, so we give you that and legacy. We give you new stuff and legacy. So, like, please think about new approaches, migrate to new tools. You will save time. You will get better security. You will get better efficiency. But if you, for some reason, cannot do it, like, and I hope it's not because you're lazy, so then you can still use old approach.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Ruslan. So just gonna say to Paulo, we're gonna get your question at some point, right? So hold on to it. I just don't want to disturb what Ruslan's talking about here right now. Okay. So
yeah, let's go to containers. So now, like containers, as I mentioned, the survey shows like actually migration to containers. Wait, this one. Yeah, lack of experience and resources. How we can help? How Jelastic can help here? Jelastic provides a set of certified containers for different languages. For Java, PHP, Ruby, .NET, Node.js, Python, Go. And what does it mean? Like, so when you go inside, you will be able to find language tab, and then you can choose specific stack. We have more than 50 application servers, databases, load balancers, storage, DB in-memory, middleware solutions. So, and you will be able to find the middleware stack that you use for your current application. And we support multiple versions. For example, for Tomcat, you can see like there is like 3 major versions, right? And there are more minors as well. And moreover, you can choose actually GDK build from which provider you want to use, like from Oracle or from, let's say, like Azure systems or like from Eclipse. So it gives you a very good choice. At the same time, you don't need to worry like how to build this container, because like we take, yeah.
So I think you've mentioned that you can choose different providers. So I think that's a good moment to ask Paulo's question, and you can just answer yes or no right now, and then you can go deeper later on.
Okay.
But he's asking about what about GraalVM? You know, can you actually choose a GraalVM as a JDK2?
So yes, GraalVM, we do have GraalVM here. I do believe we have it. So let me see. So you go like, do you see my screen now?
Yes. Yes, the screen is
so
good.
you go Java Engine, and you see like GraalVM here.
All right. Okay. So Paulo, that's don't even need to go even deeper. It's right there, easy and good. Awesome. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Ruslan.
and
Sorry.
you can make it scalable. So if you want to improve this engine container runtime, so you find something is missing, like, so please let us know, because Graal is new, and we are collecting feedback about this runtime. So moving forward, and there are more again like for PHP. Let me show like real example. Like, so you can see like there is like drop downs, right? And I can choose so many different software stacks, right? Middleware stacks. And then for same for PHP, right? For PHP, we support like Apache, which is very popular. Then LAMP stack, it combines multiple stacks inside, like Linux, MySQL, Postgres.
And Redis, I think.
And Redis probably yes as well. Yeah. So yeah, and Redis as well. Yeah, but it's just a standard name like LAMP. We also have like Lightspeed web server, which is a commercial solution to make your PHP applications website work very fast. We do have free Lightspeed as well, till up to 2 gigabytes, it's free, and then commercial license will be enabled. We also support Nginx, which is very popular and very good solution, and you can choose different PHP versions. So it's pretty flexible. You don't need to go like and build your container, and you just choose the container, like, and we can scale this container later. But also, not only this, it's possible to choose your custom containers. For example, you know how to build containers, and you do it in a specific way, and then you just print something like, let's print Nginx, right? Or you can deploy like official Nginx image, or like from your image of your friend, let's say, right? And then you can again like choose version you want to deploy. Sorry, let me switch to another one here. Yeah, you can see like there is a ability to choose different text. So it's very flexible. If you know how to cook containers, you can deploy custom containers. If you don't know how to deal with containers, like, I really recommend to use our containers, because they are optimized for cloud. They are optimized for scaling. There are more automations inside. Like, so when we scale them horizontally, we know how to configure replications. Like when we scale them vertically, we know how to adjust configurations inside to consume available resources in an efficient way. Because when you deploy a custom container, like, we don't know exactly what is inside, like, and it's very hard to to automate stuff, but still like it's possible to deploy custom Docker containers. So great. And scaling, we discussed, right? Like, scaling can be challenging, and is challenging task. And specifically vertical scaling, people can think like, oh, okay, it's easy. You just drag and drop this slider, and it's fine. Like, but look, there are more things behind vertical scaling. You really need to go and adjust some configurations file, and it's mostly for every middleware stack. Because if you don't do it, your application server or your database will not utilize the available number of CPU or cores or not available memory. So it's important to understand like that some adjustments are required when you do vertical scaling. But with Gelastic, when you scale vertically, you don't think about this anymore, because we do automatic reconfiguration for you. So, Yanis, maybe you want to say something about this. Do you use vertical scaling actually for your projects?
Well, to be honest, all our projects, we're talking about nearly 250 or 300 environments, all of them are using vertical scaling. And that was the wow moment, the first wow moment, because before Jelastic, we were using some dedicated service, but we started playing with VPSs. And even for small projects, I had the bad habit. Some can say it's a bad habit, but I wanted to have each project isolated. So I was getting a small VPS, like a LAMP system Ruslan described, Apache Orange Next with MySQL and Redis, and setting up even small projects on individual VPSs. But that was a nightmare to handle, and you couldn't update it. And then you had to pay for it no matter what, even small sites, especially if you're having clients that are focused in local markets, let's say Greece. During the nighttime, you don't have any visitors at all, but still you had to pay that amount of money monthly to get this VPS active. Then we use some other services like even cPanel on some kind of virtual cloud, hybrid cloud services, where you had to send a ticket to the company, to the actual hosting provider, and say, look, I want more memory for my VPS, and then they can upgrade it from 2 gig to 4 gig of RAM, and so forth, so on. And when I realized that we can do that automatically and keep the resources low, that was the first wow moment. And as I tell you, all our projects are definitely using vertical scaling. It's critical, both in terms of handling and pricing.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. It's one of the most loved by our customers. So it's very unique, elastic, and like elasticity is inside of our company name. Like, so it is in our DNA, this vertical scaling. And I know for sure Bruno is enjoying vertical scaling as well, right, Bruno? Can you share maybe something about your experience?
Yeah. Sorry, I've missed for a second, Ruslan.
Bruno, like I'm sure that Bruno is vertical scaling as well for his projects. Like Bruno, what do you think about this? Like, can you share your experience?
So yes, so basically, I totally agree with Yanis right there. For us, we're like very, 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 very small company, right? And so for me to be able to simply adjust, because vertical scaling, right? Remember that vertical scaling it's a cool thing because we're just putting the maximum of how much resource we're using, right? So for me, just kind of enable vertical scaling is like no brain at all, right? The more resources people use, the more the machine grows, and when people are not using anymore, they come down. But both vertical scaling and horizontal scaling for me were awesome because look, how do I know a lot of Java? I'm working with application servers for a long time. It's not trivial, right? It's not easy. And a lot of times I work, I'm a consultant, right? So a lot of times I work with customers, and they have to maintain their systems, their applications, and they have to, So I mean, my job is to actually make this whole thing working easily for them, so that they can maintain for a long time. And so you go to the customer, you actually set this thing up, and they can maintain it, right, for as long as they want. I mean, they don't need me to be there taking care of everything. So for me, being able to rely on Jelastic for all those things has been an awesome way, right? I'm just sad that some of the customers don't know Jelastic enough. And they're like, oh, no, but we want to use another provider. We don't know Jelastic, so we have to explain. And then some customers you have a hard time, and some customers you don't. Well, it happens, right? Being a consultant, you have to do all of those things.
You learn your story, and then you know how to explain it. I've done that for like 100 customers, and I know exactly what to tell them now to convince them.
Right? Yeah.
But exactly. It's a secret. I won't tell you what I'm telling them.
Please share.
So, Ruslan, I think it's a good time. You're talking about starting this content and everything, and then Paolo says, you already said, and I think that was clear for everyone, that you can run your own containers. You can run Docker containers in Jelastic. I mean, you have to take more care because you build your containers, so it's more of your responsibility. If you use Elastic containers, everything's done for you. But if you use Docker containers, you have a little bit more work because of that. But Paolo's going one step further, right? Do you support Docker registers, right? Besides Docker Hub, can you run your own Docker register?
Yeah, so you can connect to your private registry, first of all, right? If you have it somewhere like outside. But inside Elastic, it's possible to deploy Docker registry as well. I'm not sure we have it out of the box yet. So Yanis, what do you use for your own projects?
Well, we use default environments. It's for Docker, the containers you provide.
Okay,
well,
I see.
The majority of our projects are large than PHP.
I see. Yeah, question was about Docker registry. Docker registry is possible to deploy into Elastic. Actually, you just go like and find like registry here. I believe like
Yes.
Let me find it.
Oh, yeah. So wait, before you show your screen, Ruslan. So yes. So basically, so Paolo, I think it's Paolo. So Paolo, one thing that we did when we first started, we weren't sure because we started with a long time ago by putting Docker containers on Elastic. Actually, I can say this, right, Ruslan? Maybe I'm not exaggerating, but I think I was one of the very, very first customers that had Docker containers on Elastic, because I know, I was working with you guys directly with Elastic every single day to get everything adjusted and everything. So you guys were great at that time. So Paulo, when we started, we were actually we're not running on Docker Hub because we had our own containers the way we wanted them to do. So yes, you can totally connect to our Docker registry that's not on Elastic. But I think what Ruslan is going to show is that you can actually run the whole Docker environment inside Elastic if you want to do this, right? So, okay, Ruslan, I'm going to put your screen here.
Yeah, correct. So you can find registry in Docker Hub and deploy just standard Docker registry. There is also possibility, we will talk about this when you deploy GitLab. So registry is already connected inside. There is another good solution, I believe, from JFrog. Their container registry it's another good one. So it's a good question. So maybe we need to add custom, private registries. But mostly private cloud customers are interested in such kind of solution because Docker for now is popular. However, actually they recently introduced some new pricing model. Maybe it's a time to add, own registry inside Elastic. Good. So we are ready to go.
Right.
Actually,
one more comment, Ruslan. So yes, just kind of doing, one of the things that we run with Paulo, and so actually Paulo has a comment here. But one thing that we run with Paulo is that we run, Nexus Docker register, right? So for some of our customers. So yes, so we run this thing inside Elastic, and we access the register inside Elastic. So that works too. And Paulo says, 100% agree with Bruno. As an architect, helping creating solutions in tens of tech stacks and languages and deployments has always been the nightmare part. Yes, man. Every time, especially when you're working on, you're a consultant working with all kinds of different customers, man, this part is crazy. Because a lot of times you get in a customer and they have their own infrastructure and they have their own infrastructure team that's running things in the cloud. And lots of times you don't have, a lot of companies don't have DevOps, right? So you actually don't have a good relationship with not a good relationship, but you don't have an easy way to work with the infrastructure team sometimes. But yes, I totally agree with you, man. Working as a consultant with different type of companies, big companies, small companies, all kinds of crazy things. The deployment part is big nightmare. So that's what we're trying to solve here today, right? Making things simpler. And Kazabi says hello. So Kazabi has been here with us since Monday. So hey, Kazabi, good to have you here, man. All right.
Good. So then finalizing about vertical scaling, the only issue with vertical scaling um, is the following: like it's available only in Jelastic, so you cannot find, exactly like this and
That's
other
not an
cloud
issue,
vendors.
Ruslan.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Like, look, I mean, like in general, right? Like, I'm happy that we have competitive advantage, but look, in general, like, I will be happy to see the whole world, like, moving in a better place. If everyone offers this like vertical scaling and pay-per-use model, like, I'm pretty sure, like, our company will find out something new to compete with other guys. Like, but because, like, why I'm saying like this? Because I truly believe like vertical scaling is a mandatory, like, and it's a must, like, and people just did not pay attention enough to this, like, and if you don't pay attention, you spend a lot of resources, you waste a lot of resources. Yeah, and actually there is unfair pricing when you pay only for the limits, not for what you use. Like, so there are many problems around this vertical scaling, and vertical scaling can help you to be more efficient, like, to bring your scaling to the next level. So this is about vertical scaling, but of course, vertical scaling without horizontal scaling is not going to work for a large project, and this is why you need horizontal scaling, at least for high availability. At least you need two containers and the horizontal scaling.
Ruslan, before we go to horizontal scaling,
Yeah.
there's a quick question here from Miguel, right? And Miguel asked, he said he missed it a little bit, but he said, is the register in Docker Jelastic is not the best solution. So Miguel, we're actually talking about different ways that you can access a Docker register. So you can run your own Docker register inside Jelastic. You can access an external Docker register. So I'm not sure what part you read that was not the best solution, because we're talking about different solutions. And yes, you can choose different solutions for your Docker register inside or outside Elastic. You could just use Docker Hub. You can use all kinds of different things. Right, Ruslan?
Yeah. So yeah, correct. Like, so you can deploy different Docker registries in Elastic. By default, we do not provide registries at this moment. Like, so. Because Docker Hub was very popular, like we actually did not have too much requests till maybe like recent times, but still not very many. Like, so if you can say like which one is the most preferable for you, right? Because there are many solutions on the market, and we need to start from some at least the most popular.
Right.
So tell us what kind of registries you want to see in Elastic, like, and I'm pretty sure we will be able to extend.
Yeah, so basically what Ruslan is saying, Miguel, is that there is not a Docker register from Jelastic, right? So that you can use immediately, but you can use your own. You can install your own inside Jelastic if you want. So there's all kinds of different ways.
Correct.
All right.
Cool.
So last thing before Ruslan goes to horizontal scaling. So vertical scaling, basically for me, as I said before, being a small company. And look, I think for me, the biggest advantage, and I think we talked about this when we talked on Monday about scalability, right, Ruslan? The biggest advantage of having, vertical scaling is that I don't have to worry about. I mean, there's nothing better than not having to worry about, right? Really, because look, I only pay for what I use. That's what we talk about this on Wednesday, right? I only pay for what I use. So when I put a new customer and I say, I don't know how many things this customer is going to use. I don't know. So I just I put as much as I think it's possibly going to go, like making in a crazy Black Friday. I just kind of put there, right? And forget about it, right? Because I don't pay for it, right? So I can just say, if it goes very high for any reason, it can go, right? I'm okay paying it. I prefer to pay if it goes very high, right? I prefer to pay for it than have my customer being out of resources, right? So that's so cool. And I think there's nothing better than this, right? I run customers in other providers that don't have that, and we are always discussing, how big this machine has to be, how much memory should I put? Oh, but if I put more, I'm gonna have to pay. So let's, we grow and we keep monitoring. So we grow more when you need, there's all this discussion always happening all the time, right? But then for me, it's like, whoop, put as much as I want, Okay, and let JLS handle it. The worst thing that could happen is that I get a bill for, oh, you had this very, very high load for about 10 minutes and you're being charged for it. It's like, no problem, man. That's no problem at all. Okay, so that's one. And by the way, look, I understand that Ruslan is going to talk now about horizontal scaling. And yes, horizontal scaling works great, but it's so much more complicated, right? I mean, I know GLS makes so easy in lots of different ways, but there's nothing easier. You get a Jenkins server, for example. You just say, okay, I want as much memory as this thing needs, right? I don't need to have like lots of Jenkins servers doing lots of things at the same time. So I mean, there are lots of use cases that all you need is when I need more, I'm gonna get it. And that's all I need. That's great. So just want to say this last thing, Ruslan.
If
Correct,
something
Bruno. Thank
happens,
you.
Bruno, because some people may think that, okay, if I put, the slider all over the place and right at the top, I will start paying a lot. And maybe sometimes application fails. Okay, that happens as well. So you can get loads of usage and using loads of resources because of bad code or something. But another good thing is that you get alerts. So even if you have the slider right to the right and the application starts misbehaving and you go to lots of high percentage of resources, you get an email and you get an alert and you know what to look for. And if it's
Right.
not a Black Friday, as we discussed, and it's a Saturday night, and for some reason the project goes at the top, then you can easily look if something's wrong with it. So do not worry that you will start losing fortune because of using vertical scaling.
Yeah, that's very
Correct,
true.
correct,
Very true.
correct. So if you look like Black Friday is coming, like what I recommend, like go to the settings, right? Like and just make it like this, like scroll up the slider, like get more resources for vertical scaling, like.
To make
And
it easier, just add the Black Friday button there. Click.
yeah, correct, correct, correct.
Black Friday button. So Paul is kind of making a comment here, just so we can put this discussion on Docker Edge to rest. Paul is saying there's a lot of good ones out there, but I think the ones integrated with GitHub and GitLab are the more convenient, right? Because of all the integration and things like with the pipelines and things like this. Yes. So the good thing is that you can use whatever you want, right? And you can also, as I said, we run our own Docker registry inside, inside our own tooling inside Elastic. So you can even do that if you prefer to integrate more of your pipeline, this kind of things. All right, so that's enough about Docker Register. And of course, if you guys have more questions, that's just ask us. But go on, Ruslan.
One more about simplicity. Like, again, like we're talking today about simplicity, right? Like, so we want to save time for developers and for sysadmin guys. Like, and for example, like if you set like 8 GB of RAM for your instance, right? And let's say like you did the wrong guess for limits, so you actually need more, like because more load, like for application. So what will happen at other cloud providers? Like most likely you have to first of all like buy twice bigger machine, and then like do manual migration. Like you cannot add more resources to the same instance, like to the same container, like or to the same virtual machine. Like you have to do like manual work for migrating your application, and it's not really convenient. While it's possible to do, like just drag and drop and add more resources to the same container in Elastic. So it's again like very convenient. Like if you set the small limit, you will get notification from the system like you need a little bit more, and you just go and drag and drop. No need to spend time for migrating your application. Like so, it's super convenient, and this is why reason I'm saying like why it's only in Elastic available today. Good. Go to horizontal scaling. I can talk about vertical scaling a lot, like because it's one of my favorite features. So horizontal scaling, it's a must for critical production applications. Like it's a must for heavy ability. It's a must for high load, like when just one container cannot handle this. And usually horizontal scaling is very complicated, like because you need to configure horizontal scaling on different levels, like on application server level, right? On database level, on load balancing level, and maybe you still have like caching level, like so you need to configure capabilities there on storage level. So because if you configure only on one level and then hardware fails, you will have one single point of failure at specific level, which is not redundant. And configuring all these levels are complicated process because you need to know exact things like how to configure the application. And please keep in mind, very often there are different schemes for replication. Like so, people call it like master slave, right? Like or like master master, and others. Like so, you need to know specific details like how this configuration works. And also, if you use plain infrastructure as a service, most likely you have to do additional configurations by yourself when you add one more virtual machine, because you need to go and configure your middleware stack, right? While with Gelastic, it's very easy. You just add, you just press plus button and we add more servers for you. And these servers will be connected to load balancer automatically. So you don't need to go to load balancer and reconfigure it. We do it for you. Like it doesn't mean nothing is configured. Like no, like we will configure it for you behind the scene. Like so you just don't see it. Like you don't think about it at all anymore. And this is why I like horizontal scaling implementation.